I already posted a video about the latest toxic revenge love story Thailand drama aired from 2021 to 2022. And if you haven't watched it yet, you can see it on the card above. As I said in my previous video, this type of genre typically occurs when the male lead mistreats the female lead in order to exact vengeance, or vice versa. Or perhaps they simply misunderstood one another, which led to a toxic relationship. I am sure I am not the only one who quite enjoys this type of series, which is full of drama and a chaotic plot. However, we should never forget that this type of relationship should never happen in real life. In this video, I will list my top 10 toxic revenge love story LAKORN of all time as of March 2023. Number 1. Man of Vengeance. The male lead is a child of a mistress. When he was a kid, he was abused by his stepmother, and the only one who was kind to her was the female lead, a girl in the neighborhood. And one day, when he fell into a river, everyone thought he was dead even though he survived. A few years pass, and he comes back to get revenge on the people who hurt him as a child. However, he never expected he would see the female lead, his only childhood friend. Number 2. Waves of Life. Because of a certain situation, the female lead accidentally hit the male lead's fiancé on the road while driving. Because of this, the woman dies, and the male lead, who is a lawyer, determines to get revenge on the one who killed his fiancé. Number 3. I Love You, I Hate You. The male lead, who is the only son of a millionaire, started to resent her father after his mother died. But when the female lead enters his life, he cannot hide his interest in her. However, his world turns upside down when his father brings the female lead home with her mother. And now, the male lead, who has resentment, decided to turn his back on his family. After 4 years pass, he returns to take everything back. And the female lead will be the first person he takes revenge on. Number 4. Superstars Game. Before their wedding, the fiancé of the male lead passes away in an accident, leaving behind a note in which she blames the female lead's fiancé for her death. And so the male lead plans to take revenge by becoming the bodyguard of the female lead, a famous superstar. However, in the process, he finds himself falling for her. Number 5. The Sky Has the Sun. This drama focuses on the male lead, a young businessman who plans to get back the company once owned by his mother. He is determined to take revenge and retrieve everything from the father who abandoned him and his mother to live with his new wife and the adopted daughter, who is the female lead. Number 6. The Envy Code. The female lead is the only daughter of a billionaire. However, she loses everything, including her parents, because of her aunt and cousin. And so, she vows to get revenge. She starts by forcing the male lead, the man her cousin is in love with, to get married to her. And that's how their story began. Number 7. Rapturous Flame. The female lead's father frames the male lead's father for murder and has him arrested. And now, after a few years, the male lead comes back to get revenge. He starts by seducing the female lead's younger sister and abandoning her. Because of this, the female lead is enraged and wants to get revenge. And that's how the fight full of tricks between them gets started. Number 8. Bittersweet Promise of Revenge. The male lead's fiancé died after she accidentally hit the female lead, who was crossing the street at that time. And now the male lead, who believes that it is the female lead's fault, plans to get revenge on her. He started by tricking her into an employment contract. Number 9. Bad Love. The main leads are best friends. However, after the female lead goes to study abroad, tragedy happens to the male lead, and he gets into a car accident. All this happens without the female lead knowing. And so, when she came back, she was devastated. But the male lead is actually still alive and is planning to get revenge on the female lead's family, who he believes is the reason for his tragedy. Number 10. Unending Desire. This drama is about the revenge of the male lead. It is because the female lead's father cheated the male lead's father, with whom he built his business. Because of this, his family suffers from poverty. And now, after several years, the male lead returned as a wealthy businessman and started his revenge by forcing the female lead to become his mistress in exchange for her father's mansion. Number 11. Cruel Attraction. When he was a child, the male lead witnessed his mother committing suicide after being raped and his father dying of despair. And now, after studying and working hard, he returns to take revenge on the female lead's family. Number 12. Game of Vengeance. The male lead's sister was betrayed by the female lead's brother. Because of this, his sister runs away and is gang raped, causing her to go insane. And so, the male lead vows to get revenge on him. He starts by kidnapping his sister, who is the female lead, and taking her to an abandoned island where he tortures her physically and emotionally. Number 13. Sinful Love Among the Dreamy Ocean. The female lead is trying to find a way to escape with her little sister from her stepmother, who abused them. And finally, they were able to find shelter, and there she met the male lead and developed feelings for him. However, the male lead discovers that her father is the cause of his family's tragedy. Number 14. A Man's Heart. The male lead's father cheated the female lead's father by taking over the business they built together for himself. Because of this, the female lead's father got into an accident which caused him to become disabled. And now, for her father to be finally happy, the female lead starts to get revenge on the male lead's family. Number 15. Swan Wing. The female lead is a socialite who enjoys seducing men and making them fall in love with her. One of those men is the male lead's sister's boyfriend, who broke up with her sister, resulting in her committing suicide. The male lead is devastated and decides to get revenge on the female lead by making her fall in love with him and then hurting her as much as he can. Number 16. The Shadow of the Moon. The female lead's sister dates men while pretending to be her, then dumping them. One of those men is the male lead's friend, who died in a car accident because of her. And now the male lead, who thought the cause of his accident was the female lead, starts to get revenge on her. Number 17. High-stakes loving. The main lead was a couple who got married quietly in Spain. However, their relationship ends after a tragedy happens to both of their families. And now, after a few years, the male lead gets engaged despite still being in love with his ex-wife. On the day of his engagement, the female lead shows up, announcing that he is her husband. The male lead is happy that they are finally getting back together. However, he doesn't know that she is only planning to get revenge. Number 18. Dragon's Blood. Crating. 7 years ago, the male lead's biological parents and brother were shot and burned to death. And now the male lead, who was adopted by a wealthy man, comes back to Thailand to become the leader of the Crating gang. And he will do anything to find and get revenge on the person responsible for the death of his family. Number 19. Sunrise Sunset. The female lead is the illegitimate daughter and only heiress of a rich man, whereas the male lead is the adopted son of his father and his legal wife. And when her father eventually brings her to the family, she fights with her stepmother while falling in love with the male lead. But there are still more mysteries to discover. Number 20. Flames of Riddles. The male lead decides to get revenge on the female lead's family, the reason why his mother gets insane. His plan is to destroy their family business by gaining the female lead's trust and making her fall in love with her. And that's my top 10 toxic revenge love story LAKORN of all time as of March 2023. Thank you for watching.